Good day, everyone. Before we continue with today's agenda, let's quickly have a recap from where we stopped. We stopped at the introduction to Numpy and Pandas for data hardness. So what is a Numpy? A Numpy is a tool in Python that helps us work with numbers in a fast way. And you want to add them together or find average. Numpy make this calculation easier and quicker, especially when you have a lot of numbers to add together. So Numpy is basically used for list of numbers that we use array for. We quickly make use of this Numpy for addition and some other calculations. And what is a pandas? A pandas is another tool that helps us organize and analyze data. Think of it like an Excel spreadsheet inside Python. If you have a table with names, age, and salary, Pandas make it easy to sort, filter, and find useful information from the table. So Numpy are both used in Python, but in a different way. Numpy works best when dealing with numbers, and Pandas is great for organizing and analyzing table of data. So let's look at the example of this Numpy code in Python. If you want to use a Numpy, this is the structure. This first line here is indicating that we must to import this Numpy before we can make use of it. That is, import Numpy as np. The np means number Python, that is Numpy. And then the second line here indicates that this our original array, that is np.array, that's the original array with a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It must be stored under a data type, under a data, or under a variable rather. So that's why you are seeing ARR. It doesn't mean that it must be ARR. It can be anything. You can write it array or original array depending on how you want to structure your code. But np.array is the format we write an array using Numpy. Then we want to print something that will multiply by 2. That means we'll be calling where we store that number, that is array, multiply by 2. This is the structure, and this is how Numpy works in a Python. So let's look at the way we structure a pandas in Python. So this is how we write a pandas code in a Python. Equally, we will import pandas as pd. So we must to import it also. Then we now structure our data. So this is written like an object. This time around we are not using an array because this one is written like an object. So we are saving the values and the attributes inside this data. So this one is serving as our data, our variable. Then we have some organizing of attributes like name, like age, and then I think it's 2. That is name and age. under name, we want to store Alice and Bob under it. Then under age, we want to be seeing the age of these people under it. That is 25 and 30 to be under maybe, this is how to organize. Alice, we have an age of 25, and Bob, we have the age of 30 years. So if we want to print this particular stuff now, we have to structure it under a data frame. So df, we call this particular name PD, then we frame it so that it will be showing in a form of table. So after we have framed it, then we will now print where we store that frame. So this is how Pandas and Numpy works. Numpy works best when dealing with numbers, that is list of numbers. While Panda is great for organizing and analyzing table of data. So thank you. Let's move on to today's lecture. We are in lecture 2. That's online free training, AI 3 months online free training by No Big Deal. So today we'll be looking at machine learning basic and data processing. So under this we'll be covering introduction to ML, type of ML, and data cleaning using Pandas, data visualization. Then after everything, we'll be having an assignment here, be downloading a data set, e.g. Titanic data set, and we are going to clean it using Pandas. We are going to create a basic chart to visualize the data. So this particular lecture will explore the fundamental of machine learning and how to operate data for building ML models. So introduction to machine learning. What is a machine learning if you are asked? A machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. That is under artificial intelligence that allows computer to learn from data and make prediction or decision. So it's been learned by the data supplied to it and make decision on it. When it's making decision, it will be making decision without being explicitly programmed. It is widely used in various applications, such as fraud detection in banking. We can use it for recommendation systems, that is like YouTube and Netflix. We can equally use it for self-driving cars and medical diagnosis. So these are the areas we mostly find machine learning. So let's move on to the types of ML. What are the types of ML? We have supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement, understanding data. After we have already looked at the types, then we'll be looking at the data set using CSV and JSON. So what is a supervised learning? A supervised learning, it is a model that learns from labeled data, that is input and output pairs. What do I mean by this? For example, a predicting house pricing based on size, location, and numbers of rooms. This is where we use it. We have already known the size, we have already known the location, and we have already known the numbers of the room. So a supervised learning are what? Learn from the labeled data. The algorithm we use for this supervised learning is linear regression, decision trees, and neural network. Then the second type is unsupervised learning. The model finds pattern in data without labels. This one we don't need to label it. It finds patterns in data. Example of these particular types is maybe customer segmentation in marketing. Then the algorithm we use under here is k-mean clustering. That's a principal component analysis. Then the third types is reinforcement learning. That's the model learned by interacting with an environment and receiving rewards. The best example of this reinforcement learning is when we're training a robot to walk or to play a game like a chess. So under this particular type of ML, we use an algorithm called Q learning, and we use deep Q network too. So those are the types of ML. We have supervised. Those are the models that learn from the what? Data, that find pattern in the data. While the other one that find pattern in data without labels. While the reinforcement learning, those are the ones that learn by interacting with the environment. The next thing is understanding data sets. We must what? Before we train a machine learning model, we need to understand how data is stored. How do we store data in Python? So we use two models format, which are the CSV, full meaning of comma separated values, and the other one is JSON. So CSV files is a simple text file where data is stored in rows and columns. If you look at the screen here, we'll see that our data are stored in rows and columns. What are rows? This is row, this is column. So the first row is the attributes, while the other rows, they are the values for the attributes. So CSV store their data in rows and columns. While the other one, but before I move to the JSON, let's see how we can use CSV in Python. Before we can use this CSV, we must what? Import Pandas, because we know that Pandas are being what? Structured in tabular form. So that's why we'll be using Pandas here. So Pandas store data like a CSV. So we have to import Pandas the normal way we import Pandas. That's import Pandas as PD. Then we store the function to read from the variable we declare. That is, read this data for me, PD. That is the Panda. That is the way I import the Pandas. read whatever is in PD for me. Then you will now print it. You print where you store, where you read it. That means display the first 5 rows, display all those things. We will now display it according to CSV. Then JSON. JSON is an abbreviation for JavaScript object. JavaScript object notation. JSON stores data in a structured format, often used in web application. We use JSON for web application. You may be finding JSON when we start what's it called? Okay, I'll remember when we proceed. So JSON, the Django, that is what we use under the Django for our data structure. So these are the example of JSON files. It's been declared like an object. That's the way we declare our pandas. The other way we declare our panda that times. So we call this particular JSON student. Then because we have under student, we'll be having attributes and values. So if we want to organize this kind of values in a well-structured way, you can use this particular method, JSON. So under student, we'll be having name. Then the value of the name can be Alice. We're having another attribute, age. Call it the age, the value, the score, the values, like that. So this one can be row 1, this one can be row 2. So that's how data are being stored. That is the format of data set we have. We have CSV and JSON. That's the way of structuring our data. So the next thing in our list is data cleaning using Pandas. Then we'll be handling missing values and duplicates. Raw data often contains errors, missing values or duplicates. So when we talk about data cleaning, it's very crucial. And we have some crucial steps we need to take when handling missing values. So if you are using a Python to write or to replace a missing value, we use this particular command, python df.fina. We will replace it with 0. If the spacing is there, it will be true. So this particular command now will be replaced with no space. While the second option here, we use it to replace missing row with missing value. That means we want to remove rows with missing values. That is df.dropNa. The first one is python df, while this one is dropNa in place equal to true. So all these commands, we need to get it to our head, so that if in case we want to remove or replace missing values, we like to be using it. Then the second steps is removing duplicates. This is also the command that we use in removing duplicates. drop duplicates in place equal to true. That is the function we use in Python to remove duplicates. Converting data type. How do we convert data types? This is also the commands that we use in converting data type. This particular command now will convert the word age to strings or integer, to integer. Convert this particular to as type integer. So if in case you need some commands that we need to convert some data to integer, this is the command that you need to put on your head too. So data visualization with matplotlib and seaborn. Data visualization with matplotlib and seaborn. What we mean by data visualization is that's the act of visualizing our data using some pictures. Data visualization helps us to understand pattern in data. That is in Python. It helps us to understand pattern in data. If we want to make use of this particular visualization, that means we want to be drawing a chart, something like that, we have to install it also by using these commands. Import matplotlib dot pipe lot as plt. That's the command we use in importing matplotlib for basic charts. So you plot your chart according to x-axis and y-axis. So maybe for example our data from x-axis is having 1 to 5. We want to plot it against our data that is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this is the commands that we can use. That is plot x and y from a 0. We label our x-axis and we label our y-axis. Then we can title our chart, call it simple line graphs. Then this particular last command will make it to show. That's the function we will need to do to make whatever we have plotted here to show. So we move to seaborn for advanced visualization. Also, we still need to import everything that we are making use of it because they are libraries. You don't need to be writing the code from beginning. You just import it and make use of it. So you start from import seaborn as SNS. This is the command too that you need to put on your head. Then if you want it to show, then you write the function of show, that is plt.show. So these are the basic data visualization that we need to master. We need to master matplotlib and seaborn. We need to learn how to remove duplicates. Need to learn how to handle missing values. That is data cleaning using Pandas. Then we started this by understanding dataset format. That is by using CSV and JSON format. So we have some types of machine learning that we have talked on. So in summary, by the end of this class, we should be able to know the meaning of machine learning, the types of machine learning, data cleaning, and data visualization in Python. So till we see next lecture, we'll be talking about supervised learning regression. Thank you and welcome to this beautiful lecture.